nice little case CES. Made about 1939. It rocks you to sleep, nice. and you fall asleep. It's good to see though the Marshalls. We've got a full set of Marshalls. Back to David Brown's. The little crop master, or the diesel version, came out. This must be like a changeover again. It's a 49 version. Because it's got the diesel engine, you'd have thought it'd be a 25D or a 30D, but it's got the scuttle on the side, so it's on the changeover period. It's got the petrol paraffin tank, so again, on that changeover time, just between the petrol engine and the diesel engine coming in, so quite rare. This has done took the idea over and started putting them in as factory fit. Or again, this looks like it's had a retrofit engine. It's got a petrol paraffin tank and then an L4 little diesel engine. Good to see. Nice to see a variety of the E27Ns. Again, it's got the bolt-on little extras like hydraulics and the lighting kit. Next, no doubt this one will be on the thrashing drum or the saw bench later on in our working display again. Again, it's a Series 2 Field Marshal. I think it's got the winch on the back, is it? This one, yeah. You bought this, I think, if I remember, for 55 quid. Is that right? Something like that. I'll give you 60 quid for it, but if you got full of diesel though for that, I might go to 70. I don't know. We'll see how we go. Mine cost me 40 quid, so you did well with that, getting that for 55. Then we got Tim with his Nuffield. Why do I keep calling you Tim? I don't know. It's Carl. You've got to be a little bit careful on the road with these. These will do about 20-25 mile an hour, but it's just keeping it on the road, that's it. Because it's not got a stabiliser bar on the suspension or on the steering, the front axle like wanders, doesn't it? So you've got to try and keep it on the black stuff. That's the problem. You end up in the hedge or somebody else's garden or whatever. The road damage. Thank you for that, Carl. I remember Carl. I don't know why I call you Tim. Yeah. Got a nice little 6-foot cut finger mower on the back. Again, totally original. Looks like this has been kept undercover all its life. It's not gone pink. They usually go pink, don't they? Stood for 15 years, so it's looking well. It sounds right. Flowers like these has got a differential lock and it's nice and small. Thank you for that. It's lovely this, yeah. Sounds right, looks right. The power cartridge starts. If you get literally a hammer, press this little button on the side, the power cartridge then forces the piston round, so it's nice to see that. First row little Dexters. Massey Ferguson got the 35, so Dexters were made to just sit on the front axle because there's a lot of ballast I've heard in the back. They're creeping off, so I can carry on. John, I need to have a word with you, John, later on. I found one of these in a hedge. Now, is there a way of telling a factory-fitted version to a retrofitted version? I knew this man would tell me. This man's so good with Fords, it's untrue. So you've got a single filler cap, that's a factory-fitted version, and there's just like a welded-up hole at the top. Not even a hole, nothing. And is there any other ways of telling me? There's got to be other little niggles or numbers or something you could be able to tell. I knew you'd be able to tell me. The absolutely immaculate Phoebe, Series 3 Field Marshal, came out about 1952. They changed the engine direction, so instead of going anti-clockwise, they go clockwise. Just so they could get 3 more gears in the gearbox. And also the paint finish on this is absolutely immaculate. Is it the one what were in Norway? This was sat in a crate, unsold, Norway docks for, must be 20 years? 10 years, 20 years. And all crated up and never used on a farm, so totally original. You'll never see another Field Marshal condition wise, engine or tin work wise any better. Absolutely original. You spend many hours on it.
Than most dogs. That was a long distance retrieve, and actually these dogs, as you can see, they're very different to their show counterparts. They've got longer legs, they've got a deeper chest, they've got thinner middle, broader head and longer nose. So they're much different and really. So here we have where Gary's working two dogs. He's actually showing you how we stop the dogs and we use their names in order for them to co one at a time. So he's asked Jet to go, and now he'll probably ask Willow to go. And that was also called a distraction training, where we shoot the gun, throw the dummy over the head as the dog is coming. So there we go, there's the three whistles, and these are really important for us in order for us to be able to do this over long distance, to be able to do it towards game if we don't want them to catch something. There we go. Oh, no, missed it. So that could be possibly because Buddy saw it, I was talking over the whistle, could be a number of things, but we try to get the whistle to be our voice, so we're not shouting ourselves hoarse.
Okay, we'll just get a few of them in. Look at the weight on the back of them. Some of them really having to work. Sticking a tongue out at me already. Grass. The smaller ones really don't like long grass, so that's why we get such a good turnout at Elvaston, because it's just like a big lawn. It's beautiful. And they all love it, so we'll get them in. Hang on a minute. What's he doing at that side of the fence? Hey, come here. You're not standing that side of the fence. Come on, bring it with you. Bring it with you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for more years than I care to think of, I learned a lot of what I know from this guy. Absolutely superstar to all us miniature steam men. The wonderful Mr. Brian Redford. How you keeping, folks? Oh, no, that's right. Steam engine, because they can be dangerous. You've heard me talking about heat and weight. Well, you know what boiling the kettle's like if you touch the kettle. Basically, it's a kettle with motion in it. That's all it is. It's a lot bigger, a lot heavier, a lot warmer. Pretty beautiful. Now, the common scales these days.
I've had it all apart this last week, doing all the bearings, and missed the one that's making all the noise.
Well, you see, folks, miniature steam is a very, very popular hobby because what scale?
3 inch.
3 inch. Now, of the original full-size amp, were there many built?
Tuber built.
Well, you see, folks, this is one big advantage of miniature steam. I know several people, very, very clever people, who from photographs and drawings of prototypes have made miniatures of vehicles that never really did come out. I've seen a full-size one of those. Wonderful to be able to see that. And there is history in this, you know, we've all talked about railways and we go a long way back, but there is history in this that you can all learn from. Now, this particular little Sentinel, I want to stop this lot because I think it's struggling with the weight on the back, and that's not just a bag of gold. This engine was built for Mr. Derek Bruce, who lived at Cromford many years ago, and it's your typical Sentinel steam lorry. Now, Sentinels were based in Shrewsbury. They first started in a lot bigger, but very nicely did that. Now, the question I'm wanting to know, when's the first batch coming off?
I've no idea at the moment. It's 10 per week.
Have you drawn the hops yet?
No, not at all, I'm afraid.
Well, how can you put Booth Brewery on the front?
It's what we call.
Miniature steam is a passion that I can remember Dad talking about 30, 40 years ago. He'd been to see a friend, and a friend had got one of these little miniature steam engines, and he just couldn't get over the barrel to Shrewsbury, and that's where they're most famous for. And they produce these lovely steam lorries, probably the nicest. Most people will argue with you on that one, but they're very much loved. Now, Derek had this one built, how long ago now? A few years ago, isn't it? 1999 Derek had it built. God bless him, Derek's getting on a little bit now and found it a little bit unmanageable. And he sold it to the Booth family at Swanwick, and it lives up there now at Swanwick. Very similar to Sentinel diesel lorry technology, in so much you can see the engine is actually underneath the chassis, and whereas your petrol engine in your diesel lorry runs from bang and fumes, the power to build it up, then you would hydraulic it first, would you?
Yeah, hydraulic test it, then RSA come in and do a final inspection on it.
Well, basically, folks, when you say hydraulic, it means we pump it up full of water and see if it leaks, rather than steam, because steam is dangerous if you're not careful.
Basically, and through that there was line drawings and sizes and approximate sizes, so from there you go from there and scale it from there.
Well, they've made a super job. That really is worth seeing. So come on then, let's see St George. Couldn't have a better name than that, could it really? Let's have him going out and we'll follow the rest round. Well, if Mr Parker returned, he has. Look at that. Hang on a minute. Is that it? Is that the best you can do? Do that again. Go on, get out. Go on. Right, folks. After St George, he's going first. Go on, young man. Look at that. And there they go. Right, my friend Ian in the box. What we got next? I'm getting old and I forgot.
So coming up at 12:15 we've got the large steam in the main arena. We've also got Punch and Judy show on now at 12 o'clock.
So we're running a little bit
that were built in 1920. Works numbers 15441 and 442, and they went new to Richardson's of Bourne in Lincolnshire before they passed to Mr Gurney of Saxelby in Lincolnshire. is the 1960 Cyril Grice of Old Dalby in Leicestershire was the owner. Cyril passed away, and at his dispersal sale they passed to a gentleman called Bob Dale of Wold Newton in North Lincolnshire. And then the further owners was to be Mr. Fred Bloom from the station there between 1917 and 1960. It's been with the current owners, David Company of Crosby, 1968. It was built in 1917. There's a work number 14805. The quick reverse was to allow the tarmac not to be of a rigid. Anyway, the truck shows up at some later point during the afternoon. Somewhere in the engine mix we have a green engine. I can see it on the outside lap now. This is a Furham. Furham built their engines at Stedman in Norfolk. This one's owned by Jeff Elvaston Castle, built in 1928. 4083 is the worker's number. Oh, it's here. I've lost you. After being rallied in the 1970s by Mr. Hall in Essex, and it's been a regular at steam engine rallies over a wide area during Jeff's many years of ownership. Well, I think for the first race we've got a nice display of engines. We're going to let them circulate the arena. Now, what I say, if you want to know any more about them, don't be afraid to ask while they're in the engine paddock. Just jump around, just to let you see them run round. So the train is busy. I think it's downstairs. You've got plenty of colour for use, haven't you? Now you see, we get the youngsters steering the engines, how about that? Peter Jacobs example, that went new to bases of Totton in Bedfordshire. This is a very late built one, 1940, 8998 is the number. This one finished it, well, didn't finish its working life, but it finished up in a children's hospital playground at Liverpool, where it's had all the faces painted on it. That's the one with Edison on the canopy. Bill Hallowell from North Derbyshire acquired the gold mine. Did you know that? Right, well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Part 2 of the steam parade. We have the first steam parade around dinner time. My name's Peter Hayward, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about each engine as it comes around the arena. And we're going to start with this Havilland and Porter steamroller, built in Rochester in Kent in 1922. Maker's number of 10237. It went new to Edison's of Dorchester in Dorset. Following on behind we have a Marshall steamroller called Blue. Marshall's got their steam engines at Gainsborough in Lincolnshire, which was a big county for steam engine builders. This one has the works number of 82842, built in 1920. And during that time, it received complete rebuild. That's the Marshall steamroller with the council on the campus. Following on behind, a 1925 built Marshall steamroller. This one went new to Castle Donington Rural District Council in Leicestershire, just down the road from here. It transferred to Leicestershire County Council in 1939, and it worked from their Cross Depot. This one went new to A. Wilson in Hampshire by Marshall's agent, Furloughs of Stowmarket, at a cost of £493. It passed to Mr. Wright in Hampshire, and then by 19... following on behind, we have a 1911 built Marshall. This one was sold new to an agricultural college at Rugby in North Wales. It has the works number 56125 and is owned by Rick Greenwood Apartments Greenwood in Staffordshire. After working for a short time in North Wales, he moved to Shropshire and then to the West Midlands. Now we have... Are you alright? Very good, yes thank you. Now we have a very nice Fowler Road locomotive, built in 1921. It's a D5 type. It was first used by Fowlers for the 7. Now we have Repulse, which was purchased in late 1983 by the current owner Terry Gibson. This one worked for John Murphy's Fowler Showman's engine, 15652, 1920. Now we have one that tells us made by Philip Jeffries to Morning Star. A Morning Star is a Fowler roller. It went to Dumfries Council. It was built in 1931. Works number 18507. It has been with Phil Jeff since 1981. And back in 2000, it made an ill nostalgic trip back to Dumfries in Scotland. The British old driver, this was undertaken on the road. It's interesting to note that this particular roller, like quite a few, was nearly scrapped, but it was saved for preservation by one of our early pioneers called Monty Thackeray. What an impressive display. little pile attraction. Olive and Parkinson paper makers from Gloucester's work for. Now we have an Avon and Porton drink can. And it went to Mountain Ash Urban District Council in South Wales. Now, it's interesting to note that the same driver drove this roller from Noon right up until it was retired in 1965. It was sold into preservation with Winds of Newport, and it was restored by one Jeff Keith in the West Midlands. It's now owned by Richard Brook of Derby, and this one has the works number of 9347. Somebody's trying to smoke me out here. No, you need a bit of smoke with them. And it's a good afternoon to Alex Baker with his Avon and Porter roller. This one went to Glaston Urban District Council in Essex in March 1925. From 1974 to 1983 was owned by a Mr. Wynne of Billingford, Lincolnshire. The well-known face of Ted Ainsworth from Chesterfield, sadly no longer with us, discovered this Avon roller derelict. He carried out most of the restoration. Sadly, Ted passed away. Now this one was built as late as 1936 at Basingstoke, and it was used by Chichester Corporation, who sold it back to Wallace and Stevens in 1959 for a diesel-powered roller. It's had various owners in preservation, and it's now revived and acquired and restored from derelict by Andrew England from Cole Aston near Sheffield. This one has a registration number of 11700. We've got a nice little Wallace and Stevens diesel roller. We'll just find out a little bit. I've got some information here, but we can perhaps find out. Just tell us a little bit about this. Now we've had 42 engines here arrive by road. I know that this is one that comes from our village independent. This is what the engine roller. Now, I'm pleased enough to put a call out for anybody that wants to have a steering engine to come to the commentary point, but in an orderly manner, please. I think as you speak when the sort it out, you can see feet in there. We have to be at a certain age, but if anybody wants to have a steering roller, see feet in the orange. The jacket's storage jacket there, and they'll sort you out. Are you ever run, Pete? Are you ever run with boats? I might be on a run boat. Yeah, you've got a good steersman there, Dave. So, don't believe it, it's a driver. Right, so we've got the number of engines.
As we go on. Of course, the Roots group in competition with British Leyland at the time wanted to compete, so they brought out the Ullman hymn. This is not a name of Jowett. Jowett were built in Bradford. There still is Jowett Street there, but Jowett went through there rough times. They built this nice little twin-cylinder water-cooled engine. This one's done 130,000, something like that, somewhere in that sort of region. You bought these either as a little van, a scuttle or whatever. You get a little Lorries, Bradford as well. Beautiful little van. Model T Ford. This one, and a lot more, were built at Trafford Park in Manchester under licence. This one's gone through a lot of work by my good mate John, who's driving. How you doing, young man? One of my favourite sports cars of all time has got to be the Daimler Dart. V8 engine, fiberglass body. It's just like sitting on a rocket. Go like stick, and what a beautiful, beautiful motor car. This young man, Morris Isis, Nissan. These came out in the late 1950s. This one's got to be insane, isn't it? Come on, keep down. Again, still on 7.4 indicator, 4-cylinder engine. And then they came out with something a little bit special. The V8 Rover. Hey, Malcolm, you've got some strips on it. Only one side. I mean, I've got no strips on the other side. It's been restoring this since, well, it was new. Please, you won't know how pleased I am to see this little motor here today, because I saw it earlier on in the week in a little bit of distress. Bonnet up, saw it at Cromford, drastically slipping clutch, and he's got it sorted, new master cylinder. This is when we started playing about with it. YCH in Derbyshire, age 69, 70, around that period. And Fanny Hopkirk got hold of a Mini and started to play about with it. Sun visors, long bench seats, column change. You got most of that with the Zodiac. This is a Mark II. Mark 1s are a bit squarer, but this was my favourite of the lot. The Mark II Zodiac, straight 6-cylinder Ford engine in that, bench seat, column change. You just have to get it back. I'm saying nothing. Go on. Thank you very much, Robert. Now, what about this? Come on, young man. Come over here and say you're going down that hole. That's it. Now, I'm going to let you tell you what this is, because it's an absolute... Come on, young man. Now, I started to tell you about British sports cars. Just after the war, we didn't produce many sports cars. The working man could kind of afford. And there was a gentleman called Donald Healy. He was producing cars in a small way on his own, and he got in touch with the Austin Motor Company. And they decided to start making sports cars. And they decided that they'd use a lot of proprietary bits that you could get off cars from the production line. And the Austin Healy 104, the Austin Healy 106, the Austin Healy 3000, all look very, very similar. This to me was the best of them. This is an Healy 3. The straight 6-cylinder engine that was used in the Austin A90 Hampshire. Totally new body. Axles off the same. Purely built out of bits that Austin were using at the time, except for the body. A lot of them went to the States. A lot of them have been repatriated. This one's been re-registered at some time, because I recognise that Scottish number. In the early 60s, after the 100E, which we saw, came the 105E. Tremendous motor car, used for rallying. Full chrome though, the body corrosion. This lovely style in here on the headlights used to fill up with mud. The MGB came out originally with chrome bumpers. Later went to rubber bumpers, and that was purely and simply to meet the American spec. They didn't like sharp edges and this, that and the other, and you could tell the American ones as well, because they'd have 3 windscreen wipers, they'd have indicators on the side, chrome rock styles on it. Beautiful. Don't let my missus see it. Very, very rare motor car. I think at the last count there were 7. The Isis, you saw the Oxford earlier. This is the Isis Woody, or shooting brake as we used to know them over here. LS is the Scottish Red, not like the Oxford, straight 6-cylinder petrol engine. Isn't that nice? Very, very rare motor car, the ISIS. How you doing, man? 3 left now. You better go and buy them. Quick. Come on, get out. Lovely motor car, lovely people. Now, you know, I always like to try and encourage youngsters in the arena, whether they've got little tractors. But I'm still struggling to work out what horsepower's on this. Eh? Flashing lights and no engine. Oh, it's a lady driver. That's about right, isn't it, folks? Hang on a minute. Whoa. What's your name? this young man, I must go back to Specsavers, I really must. This young man built this lovely engine 20 years ago. 20 years ago. How much of it have you actually made yourself?
Everything but the boiler. Oh, and the pump, oil pump, the whistle was made for him.
Now, I would imagine 20 years ago, kits like we're talking about today weren't available then, were they?
No, well, yeah, they were, but they were very poor.
You've got as much finishing to do on them as anything else, haven't you?
Yeah. Doubtful whether they ran properly.
Now this is a 3-inch scale. I don't call them models because you'll crucify me if I call it a model. It's a proper miniature steam engine. Governed by the same insurance and everything else as the big boys up there. Beautiful little engine. Called it Polly, after his mother-in-law. How did Polly and the cat get on? Oh, I'm not going there. Is dinner a bit late today?
Yeah.
Have you fed the cat? What things might have been. And we can show you how things develop, because you can buy plans and scale drawings for a lot of these engines, but some of these really skilled engineers, they like to look at something that was a possible prototype proportions and scale and built a Garrett tractor that actually never saw daylight. It was wonderful to see what that could have been like. Now, if any of you railway people just look at this, you'll say, that's Puffin Billy, William Headley's loco, put on the road. Absolutely the same sort of thing. Not much difference between this and the early railway engines. And this, did it ever see daylight in full scale?
Yes, we're not 100% sure whether they built one and then modified it 3 times, or they actually produced 3. But it was built by Wilson. They were big railway builders at the time. At the same time, they made quite a famous loco called the Jenny Lynn loco, which was quite famous for pulling and trials and stuff. And they basically built this as a self-moving portable. At the time, they'd only got either railway engines or you got stationary engines. And this was their effort at making a self-propelled engine, traction engine.
Well, you see, folks, the problem with early railway engines were this little baby in its railway guide. Now, just imagine, on a plateway, a horse would pull about 3 wagons, about 20 ton, at about 4 miles an hour. Have you done? So come on, let's have a quick lap round the arena. I thought you was going to be called Old Mother Riley or Kitty or something like that. Let's have a quick tour around, let the good people see what you've got. And then we're going to be starting something a bit special with big steam engines. We're going to have quite a lot of them. So I think, folks, in a few minutes, we need to clear this bottom gate off, because we're bringing steam engines in from both sides. Okay? Let's get this load of scrap out of the arena. Go on. I beg your pardon, Mr. Parker? Yeah, you would, I know you would, Mr. Parker. Just like a herd of cows, they tell you should always stand still and they'll miss you. Absolutely wonderful crowd, folks. I've been fortunate enough to know a lot of these people for a lot of years. And this one here, he's going to run me over if he can. Are you alright, young man? It's time you got your brother to wash that. You tell him. And tell him he's got a flat tyre at the back. What's pumping up? Like him. Cheers, bless you. Thanks a lot, guys. You know, folks, we all have a lot of fun in the arena at all the shows. It is a lot of fun, and I'll tell you, when I go down the arena, down there right, I could be sitting drinking tea and cake all day, because it's such a wonderful crowd. Thanks a lot, guys. God bless you all.
Right, well, leading the Grand Parade of the Steamers here at Elvaston Steam Rally 2014, we have a Garrett Showman's tractor owned by James Ragsdale from North Nottinghamshire. Every now and again there is a steam engine turns up at the rally that's never been to a steam rally, and luckily enough here today at Elvaston Steam we have just that in the form of this little Garrett Showman's tractor. It's been rebuilt by its owner James Ragsdale with family help, and it was built in 1918. It's got the maker's number of 33259, and it finished its working life as a stationary boiler. Now, when it was acquired by the Ragsdale family, there was just the wheels, the crankshaft and the boiler, and all the other bits that had to be made. And prior to the first three owners of this machine, after it was new, were all in Norfolk, and it's been with the Ragsdale family since 2007. And they are, ladies and gentlemen, what a lovely example of a Garrett Showman's tractor that's making its debut at a steam engine rally. So that's a real first for Elvaston Castle, and I know that young James is really pleased with his engine. It's called Invincible. So there you are, what a nice little Garrett engine. Garrett's built their engines at lying on behind the little Garrett steam tractor here. It's an ex-Leicestershire County Council machine, as you can see from the legend on the canopy top. It's a 1925 Marshall roller. Marshall's built their machines at Gainsborough in Lincolnshire. This one went new to Castle Donington Rural District Council. It's not too far from here. It was transferred to Leicestershire County Council in 1939. Also built by Marshalls at Gainsborough. 82842 is the number. It was built in 1927. And it went new to Goole Rural District Council, with whom she stayed until 1958. Then it went to John and Roger Reynolds at Tickhill, Doncaster for contract work. It came into Derbyshire in Alf Baker's ownership in 1970, and it's been with the current owner, Cliff Rogers, for over 40 years, and during that time it's had a complete rebuild. I think we're going to get the arena rather full of road steamers. Very nice for the eye though. I hope they all look where they're going and don't run me over them. Anyway, we have an Avon and Porter steamroller that's just entered the arena. It's just sort of chugging its way by the National Traction Entrance stand. This one went new to Clacton Urban District Council in Essex in March 1925. And then by 1954, this particular roller, which has the works number of 11171, was with Coles of Sleaford in Lincolnshire. Then in 1958 it passed to a Mr. Measures of Skegness. Then between 1974 and 83 a Mr. Wee of Billingborough in Lincolnshire was the owner. One of our well-known preservationists, Ted Ainsworth, discovered this particular roller derelict, and started to restore it. Unfortunately, Ted passed away, and the restoration was finished off by Ian Brackenbury, and Richard and Bill Jeffs on the Fowler steamroller called Morning Star. This one went new to Dumfries Council in 1931, works number 18507. It's been with the current owners since 1981. Back in 2000 it made a small trip back to Dumfries to meet its old driver. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it's over the Dumfries on the road. This particular steamroller was placed for preservation by one of our early preservationists, Monster Factory in Yorkshire. Now we have the second engine belonging to sold in 1924 to an Ellis Jones, Mr. Ellis Jones of Newtown in Wales. It came into preservation in 1958. It was acquired by the present owners in 2004 and has been fully restored. We've got a Wallace and Stevens steamroller called Chichester. The green one, it's owned by Dave Crampton and family from Derbyshire, as it tells you on the canopy top. This one was built in 1936 by Wallace and Stevens at their base in Stoke Worth. And it was used by Chichester Corporation, who sold it back to Wallace and Stevens in 1959 for a diesel-powered roller. It's had various owners in preservation, and it's been with the Dave Crampton and family for a number of years. This one, like the example behind it, it's got a twin duplex quarter crank which allows it to quick reverse. There we are, we're just going to get a quick reverse with the green steamroller there. We'll tell you more about that as we get on. Barry and Mary Johnson from Kegworth. They own this 1923 built Wallace and Stevens. This is a 6-ton roller, 7784 is the works number. This one went new to Woodhams of Catford, London, later passing to Worksworth Quarries of Cambridge. It stood unused and unrestored in Tom Paisley's yard at Hollywell, Huntingdon. And at Tom Paisley's dispersal sale in 1980, it was acquired by Barry and Mary. It's on its second season of a return to steam rallying after a complete rebuild, which has seen a new boiler barrel with quite a number of other jobs carried out on it. Right, now we have Richard Buck from Derby with his Avon and Porter roller. This one went new to Mountain Ash Urban District Council in Wales. It was actually retired at the same time in the 1960s when the actual driver of the machine retired. First went into preservation with Windsor Newport, a further owner being Jeff Beach in the West Midlands. It's been a regular attendant to events not only in the East Midlands, but it had a year away in Norfolk and Suffolk a few years back. Now just on the outside of that we have a Marshall traction engine. That's the red engine, and this one was sold new in 1911 to an agricultural college at Ruffin in North Wales. It has the works number of 56125 and is owned by Richard Greenwood of Barton under Needwood in Staffordshire. After working for a short time in North Wales, it moved to Shropshire and then to the West Midlands. It's been with the present owner since 2005. Right, just passing the commentary point, we have a Marshall traction engine owned by Robin Battersby and Phil Steer of Glossop in Derbyshire. This 1906 Marshall, works number 46276, went new to Mr Wilson in Hampshire by Marshall's agent Furlong of Stowmarket in Suffolk at a cost at that time of £493. It passed to Mr Wright also in Hampshire, and then it was requisitioned in 1943 by the War Department, the Hampshire Agricultural Executive Committee. It's been with the present owners since 1994, and as with most of these machines, it's been completely rebuilt. That's the brightly coloured Marshall traction engine Pearl. In 1930s, it passed to Mr Rhodes of Caxton in Cambridgeshire, before in 1976 being acquired by the late Gordon Fleer and fully restored, still retained in the Fleer family, and it's being driven today for us by Gordon Sparky Hutton, who's always at the footplate of it. I'm alright, Gordon, alright? Yeah, there he is. Smiling face as ever. Likes his BB ploughing it. Now we have a Type BB1. This one was built in 1920. It's one of a pair called Lion and Tiger. This one's called Tiger. The numbers are 15441/15442. They went new to Richardson of Bourne in Lincolnshire. The pair later passed into Mr Gurnell of Saxelby in Lincolnshire. In the 1960s, Cyril Bright of Leicestershire became the owner. Sadly, Cyril passed away, and it's been converted from sale. They passed to Bob Dale of Walton in Lincolnshire. Bob owned them for a number of years before Fred Cousland from Carrington in Lincolnshire purchased them. Then in 1992, Mr Brooks in Yorkshire became the owner, and they are now currently owned by David Shelmerdine of Stroud. Now we have Dave Cope with his T3 type Fowler tractor. Dave comes from Cromford. Alright Jeff, we'll catch up with you. They're coming at me like snowballs today, these engines. I can't run fast enough, yeah. Dave Cope with his little Fowler Tiger tractor, used by Olive and Partington, who were paper makers from Glossop. It was used to carry paper to and from the station there. It's been in the Cope family for a number of years now. Regular attender at rallies all over the country. Now we have a Clayton and Shuttleworth traction engine. If you've been going to steam rallies, you've seen this one about. You've probably seen all the crew on it as well. Are you enjoying that ride, Frank? It looks the part. I might sit up there with you. Right, this one went new from the Royal Leicester Show of 1911 to the works number 44103, and it went new to Mr George Cripwell of Ruddington in Nottinghamshire. It was purchased in 1932 by Edward Beebe for use in their business, and it's remained in that family ever since. In 1954 it attended the first Kegwood Carnival, and it's been a regular at steam rallies ever since then, and it's owned by Michael Beebe of Wrexham, being driven today by Bill Wright, who's been around longer than me. Can I say that? Yeah, I have to have some. You have to have a laugh with these people, don't you? You think I'm in trouble, Frank? big trouble. Little Foster Showman's tractor owned by Fred and Linda Dockeray from Long Watton in Leicestershire. This example was built in 1920, works number 14431. It went new to Claypole Rural District Council, which is near Newark in Nottinghamshire. It was acquired for preservation by Dan Howell of Stoke-on-Trent in the 1950s. Then from Dan Howell, it passed to a gentleman called Jack Stubbins, who was a steeplejack from Nottingham. Jack restored it as a showman's tractor. Then it stood derelict for many years until it was acquired by Fred and Linda and re-restored. And now, once again, this is a regular attender at events over a very wide area. We're going to have a bit of fun with the engines in a bit. Right, what we're going to do, I don't know. We said a bit of fun with the engines. Right, we're going to have a quick display of a backwards and forwards with the advanced roller. They are a flex quarter crank. They are. Now the idea of that was to not leave a ridge in the tarmac when it went from forwards to backwards. Now the bigger steam roller you'd have to stop to change gear. That one just got with no flywheel, just straight back, no ridge in the tarmac. Good job there, no ridge in the grass. This one's owned by Brian Boucher from Nottingham. An ex-Edison's machine. Traction engine owned by Richard Greenwood from Barton under Newood. That's going to be followed by another Marshall traction engine owned by Robin Battersby and Phil Steer from Glossop. We've got the Richard and Phil Jeffs for their Fowler Roll and Morning Star, just coming past the commentary point. Richard and Phil's other engine, a Fowler D5 type road locomotive that went new to a Mr. Jones of Newtown in Monmouthshire in Wales. Now just be aware, ladies and gentlemen, these engines are going to move.
I'm sorry, Pete, to come across you people. There's people standing about 3 inches away from this black fowler that's backing out the arena. Please can we put Brian in gear and stand a little bit further away, please? It's not easy to see where we're going, and we don't want accidents, so please do stand a little bit further away. Thanks, Pete.
Okay, Dave, I was just going to say the same. Right, let's see where we are. We've got the Jeffs family with their 2 engines, 2 power engines. We've got a little black power traction engine next to me that's owned by Andrew Bigloose from Elvaston near Sheffield. We've got the Foster Showman's tractor called Robin Hood, owned by Fred and Linda Dockeray from Long Walking, which is just making its way to the arena entrance. So just be aware, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, Nick. Crikey, you've got to tender full there. Don't shoot nobody in the fire, will you? Don't get the wrong thing. We don't want to see somebody come out of the chimney. Right. And we've got Alex Baker with an Alien and Porter roller that spent its working life with Clapton Urban District Council in Essex. And Dave's still riding around on his Sentinel lorry. Have you got too much coal? Oh, too much coal! You know you can have a laugh with these, mate, can't you? Goodness me. We've got the Lindsay County Council steamroller. Owned by Elizabeth.